Good morning. Today I'm continuing with my 2015 article, The Possibility of Eco-literate Music Pedagogy, which kicked off this whole thing. We're up to page 8. If you're interested in this, my reading and then reflection upon what I wrote a decade ago, let me know about it. Okay, under Ecomusicology, Tai-Ho's vignette. Tai-Ho teaches secondary choir, ages 13 and 18, in the U.S. and is preparing a patriotic show for a Memorial Day performance in the town center. He chooses to use arrangements of America the Beautiful, written by Catherine Lee Bates, Irving Berlin's God Bless America, and Woody Guthrie's This Land Is Your Land. These songs provide the choir with opportunities to discuss the intersection of many social issues such as Bates' sexual orientation, Berlin's robust patriotism, leaning towards jingoism during World War II, and Guthrie's response to Berlin's song, including Guthrie's socialist political affiliations. Each song also provides Tai-Ho students with an opportunity to consider 3 different visions of the way people relate to the environment. In America the Beautiful, blessed by heaven, Americans fit amicably into the pastoral landscape. God Bless America is rather like a prayer. It portrays the environment as belonging anthropocentrically to Americans. As such, the song serves to reify manifest destiny. In This Land Is Your Land, rather than a collective patriotic we, it is you and I, to whom the land belongs. Tai-Ho introduces students to the protest verses and allows students to deliberate on what Guthrie's vision for the land, his stance against private ownership, might mean for the environment. The choir's conversations are further complicated when Tai-Ho introduces that This Land Is Your Land was written as a socialist anthem and, more recently, a uniting anthem for the protesters in the 2010 BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Part of each rehearsal is dedicated to conversation, and the students decide to present the Memorial Day concert as an informant, informing their community about the eco-musicological and political aspects of each song. So yeah, one thing I've done in my writing since the start is make it practical. I know this isn't the common way theory is done. Very many of my colleagues, very well known, very well respected, great theorists, write music education theory in such a way that it's hard to figure out what to do. And I think some people like it because they see this and they can be, ooh, I can just keep doing exactly what I'm doing and it'll seem like I'm doing this. And really, if you read closely, they're pushing against you. You don't realize it. They're pushing against you, right? See this especially in like anti-racism writing. You know, they're pushing against your tokenism. Trust me. You know, but, you know, since I started this, I've made sure that my writing on eco-literate music pedagogy has been very specific, right? Giving you examples of how to do this, right? Now, the 3 different visions of America, you know, you might separate that into the ecological from other aspects. And it would probably be even more popular if I did, because people could just do that if they don't like talking about other things in society. You know, and that's fine. But really what I'm saying is for this holistic, rooted pedagogy to take root. That would be a better anti-racism, right? It would be a better version of any of these things because you're looking at it holistically. Yeah. So 3 different visions, right? I think I actually tend towards Bates's America the Beautiful. I lean to that most, right? Where Americans fit amicably into a pastoral landscape. I see this as an ideal, something where we can do, right? And I think this is my tendency towards conservative, but I understand the other ones, right? The other views. The second is the more libertarian right, with Americans owning, right? The emphasis is on ownership. Purchasing the land, using it however you'd like. And without any type of religion to curb that, we've seen how people who claim to be religious destroy the planet. In contrast, I would say Ted Turner probably does the best with that view. This guy is near death and is currently owns more actual acreage than any other person in America. And he's not the richest billionaire anymore. He actually spent most of his money doing this and purchasing land that is in danger of development, land where he can protect specific species. There's certain species of fish that are very near extinction, and streams that he's bought up the whole stream to protect, right? Open it up. Bison, he controls a large number of the wild bison. That's what he's done with his money. So I would say there is a way for the God Bless America ethic, the Irving Berlin ethic, that's a little more jingoistic, but also views the environment in this transactional way to be better, right? So that's what you're pulled to, right? I'd rather see you move better rather than just keep dumping stuff into rivers and wondering why everybody's getting sicker and sicker. And then finally, this land is your land is this socialist view, right? And there's no we now. Now it's you and I, and each person looks at how they're gaining. I know that's like the wrong way to look at the socialism, but it really is, right? So we don't, we push against the we's that cause us to have to conform too much, right? And it's fine. Lots of people hold to this, right? And there's a way for this to be sustainable, right? We've got the urban garden movement, I think, is very much based in this land is your land. Obviously, the protests against the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, protests against tar sands in Canada have followed this third ethic. But yeah, these three ethics are still active, and I think that people can find that they have points of working together, even following three very different ethics for the relationship of people to nature. Okay, continuing on with this ecomusicology part. Taiho's vignette was inspired by the writings of ecomusicologist Mark Pedagogy. The field of ecomusicology emerged from musicology and ethnomusicology and presumes that understanding the environment helps us understand music, and understanding music helps us understand the environment. Pedagogy suggests, quote, ecological synthesis is not just important for achieving more sustainable musics, but also for understanding music more holistically, and therefore better understanding what music is, end quote. He continues, music contains a reaffirming energy and the capacity to reconnect us to the living world. So yeah, I took this to heart, right? And even in my book, propose a definition for music as the intentional experiencing of sound, leaving whether the musicer is human or not to the particular experience. And that's inspired by this idea of Pedagogy's that it changes how we understand what music is. Continuing on. Ecomusicology may be gaining acceptance as a scholarly pursuit, and the summer issue 2011 of Journal of the American Musicological Society was a special issue dedicated to ecomusicology. And I have a copy of that in my books. It's actually a really great issue, wide variety of topics within it. In that issue, Allen described ecomusicology as considering the relationship of music, culture, and nature, i.e., it is a study of musical and sonic issues, both textual and performative, as they relate to ecology and the environment, end quote. Music educators, informed by this description, might challenge students to explore how music, culture, and nature relate to place and to the global environmental crises. Ecomusicology has also informed our understanding of place, expanding it to include virtual spaces created by the sonic environments of music. As Watkins stated, quote, treating music as a virtual environment has the potential to inform ecomusicological studies of how music negotiates a conceptual and material nexus where nature and culture meet, end quote. Watkins is interested in how virtual environments relate to actual environments, such as in Diederik Smetna's Ma Vlast, My Country, and John Denver's Taking Home Country Roads, in which musicians create narratives of locality, an idea she borrowed from Andy Bennett, using manifold poetic and musical means. So I still haven't had any students listen to Ma Vlast, but we do sing Take Me Home Country Roads each year in 6th grade. I added it to the curriculum. But yeah, narratives of locality, I think, are part of developing ecological consciousness. We have these songs, and they make us think about certain things. Okay, going on. Ecomusicology suggests that an ecological approach to understanding music has the ability to deepen our understanding of music and the environment, and it helps us to understand how music, culture, and nature relate, and can help us understand place, virtual such as described above, and their corresponding physical places. Most people today are surrounded by sounds and ecologies of popular music via technology. Pedagogy writes, quote, as distant places become more familiar, local spaces become less so. I believe this can become problematic, and music educators are able to familiarize students with their local places. As deep ecology philosophers Bill Duvall and George Sessions in 1985 suggested, quote, our bioregion is the best place to begin cultivating ecological consciousness. In the next section, I will share a pedagogy rooted in the local sounds for ecological literacy. Okay, so I also show here how the ecomusicological literature is pushing us towards considering bioregion. And I feel bioregion is a better way to conceptualize ecologically where we are, where we stand, rather than state, nation. These dividing lines, bioregions such as riverway, shore, plain, lake. These are more natural fits, right? I talked to University of Wisconsin graduate students, 2 months ago now? And I asked them about the ecological challenges they were facing. And the first one said salt, right? It made me think about it, right? And I had to have them explain, actually, because I was like, salt, because we don't think about our salt use as much here in the Appalachian Mountains. I think it tends to run off a little bit more, maybe be diluted by the earth. And so our salt use doesn't become much of a challenge, but they're living by the Great Lakes, right? It goes directly from the city to the Great Lake. So without that filtering system, that filtering capacity of Mother Earth, right? It's more of a challenge, and so they have to control how much they use. Boy, that can be challenging in wintertime. I imagine, especially with people with disabilities as well. These things all need to be taken into account. Always consider all people in your community. We have to have an uplifting life, but then we also have to consider all non-human people in our community, and they have to get to have a good life too. We're meant to be stewards. Have a great day.